The rising sun made sweeping shadows on the bright wheat fields of New Eden. Jake Miller stood on his porch with a ceramic mug of coffee that his daughter had made in school. The smell of bread from the bakery down the street mixed with the lovely smell of fruit trees in bloom. This was what calm was. It appeared like Jake had been the governor of New Eden for 8 years. Before that, he had fought in 3 battles in human space. He had seen worlds burn and good people die for reasons that he took the chance to help develop something new and serene, even if it seemed less important every year. New Eden was home to 50,000 individuals currently, and they all came from. Jake wanted a place to raise children without terror, and people from every part of human space were yearning for the same thing. A place to cultivate food instead of creating weapons, and a place where kids could play in the streets without being scared. The colonies spread out across a valley between 2 mountain ranges, with the main town sitting in the middle. The center was surrounded by farms that went on for miles. The buildings were modest but cozy, composed of native stone and soil wood carried by the original settlers, and solar panels shone on every roof, while wind turbines slowly spun on the slopes. Dr. Lisa Brown. As she did every morning, she passed past Jake's house on her way to the research station. She had a tiny bag of seeds with her. She had been working on these new plants that could thrive in nearly any soil and didn't need much water. Her work was feeding them. Colonies all across human space, showing that science may make life better instead of eliminating it. Lisa. Jake called in the morning. She smiled and said, "Good morning, Governor. It's a beautiful day for the Harvest Festival." Kept wondering, Lisa had 3 kids of her own, all born on New Eden. They had never known hunger, violence, or fear. To them, this idyllic world was. As the chief engineer, regular Ben Clark was already at work when other people were still eating breakfast. The power was on, the water was pure, and the communication systems were working. His team was tiny but skilled, and they fixed. Ben was proud of keeping New Eden functioning smoothly, even when things went wrong, as when tractors broke down or solar panels got damaged. There were no weapons factories, military bases, or soldiers in the colony except for Amy Davis and her tiny security squad. She used to be a military police officer before moving to New Eden. Now, she usually helps find lost children and settles disputes between neighbors. Her officers carried basic stun weapons, so there was nothing more hazardous than what a police officer might use on Earth. This was by design. The founders of New Eden had developed They didn't want to get involved in galactic politics, so they traded with anyone who desired their crops or studies. They were happy to have visitors. They didn't hurt anyone and merely wanted to be left alone to enjoy their lives. The alien traders adored visiting to New Eden because the Zenthari brought their bartering modern farming tools for Earth veggies that their people had learnt to adore. The Aquarians offered. Even the skeptical Kitha merchants calmed when they traded human art and music for water-purifying technology. They went to New Eden knowing that Mary, the school instructor, wouldn't lie to them or frighten them. She told her class of mixed youngsters that Johnson was teaching them about the history of the galaxy. Them about the big conflicts between star empires, the species that had been enslaved or killed, and the fragile. "Why do they fight so much?" said 8-year-old Tommy. The balance of power stopped the galaxy from falling apart. Mary smiled sadly when White raised his hand. Some beings think that being strong means hurting others. They believe that taking what they want by force makes them powerful, but here on New Eden means hurting others. They think that seizing what they want by force makes them strong, yet here on New Eden learnt that real strength comes from making things instead of breaking them. The kids nodded, attempting to. They thought it was unusual and scary to kill someone for land or resources. They had everything they needed. When someone was sick or hurt, their parents worked together to fix things. The community helped out at the medical center. Dr. Frank Green was taking care of a farmer who had. The worst medical emergency they had encountered in months was when tiny Sally Jones shattered her ankle. Dr. Green occasionally missed the challenge of trauma surgery, but he liked it when an arm fell from a tree. The peaceful joy of keeping people healthy instead than gluing them back together after violence tore them apart. People were busy getting ready for the Harvest Festival, which made the markets busy. Amy's adolescent daughter helped her mother put up security barriers for the party, not to keep enemies out, but the main concern was keeping the kids from getting lost in the crowd and ensuring sure everyone stayed safe and organized. Carl Brown, Lisa's husband, was putting up lights and banners in the main square for the Harvest Festival. Eden's largest celebration was when family came together to eat, listen to music, and tell tales. Kids would play games while under the sky, grown-ups danced to celebrate everything they had built. As night fell, the first families began to arrive at the square. The fragrance of grilled food filled the air, as kids ran between the tables, their laughing combining with the music. Adults spoke stories about their crops that did well and their newborns, while teens flirted. They thought about their futures.